The political highlight of this year is the rise of the Cockroach Janata Party and the resignation of Dharmendra Pardhan. After the resignation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he felt cultural shock at the vulgar language of Gen Z. On the surface, it sounds like a familiar generational critic, a leader calling for higher standards of public decorum. But here lies a fundamental paradox. Charity begins at home. When you contrast this selective performance of moral concern with the actual electoral and legislative rhetoric deployed by the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and its ideological mentor, the RSS, a stark contradiction emerges. How can a state demand linguistic purism and civility from its youth while simultaneously relying on hostile, polarizing, and gendered rhetoric to drive political mobilization? Today, we are breaking down this state of discursive dissonance. Central to the BJP's communication strategy under Prime Minister Modi has been the strategic deployment of gendered rhetoric. This isn't just about harsh political commentary, it's a calculated effort to strip female political actors of their institutional authority through objectification and infantilization. Here are three prominent examples. First, the transactional reduction of the late Sunanda Pushkar through the derogatory phrase by Mr. Modi, 50 crore ki girlfriend. Second, the patronizing theatrical cadence of the Didi O Didi campaign chants directed at West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. And the third, calling Sonia Gandhi Congress ki Vidhwa. Although Modi never openly mentioned Sonia's name while making the widow comment, but one can decipher the hidden meaning. Why framing women in power through caricature or objectification? Political rhetoric works to enforce patriarchal dominance over the public space. At its most extreme, this dynamic shifts from caricature to explicit threats of gender-based violence. For instance, T.G. Mohan Das, former convener of the BJP intellectual cell in Kerala, asserted that secular women who take part in protests enjoy being gang. Weaponizing sexual violence to punish civil dissent is a direct attempt to police women's civic participation and reclaim public space for conservative patriarchy. This externalization of hostility extends far beyond gender. It directly drives targeted communal polarization, progressively dismantling traditional parliamentary decorum. On the campaign trail, high-profile electoral rhetoric frequently relies on exclusionary identity-based binaries. We have seen former Union Minister Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti dividing citizens into Ramjade versus Haramjade. We have heard incitements like "Desh ke gaddaron ko goli maro ... from Union Minister Anurag Thakur. And we have seen public statements from the Prime Minister himself asserting that agitators could be identified by their attire. What happens when campaign rhetoric bleeds into formal governance? The answer was made clear when former BJP MP Ramesh Vidhuri used explicit anti-Muslim slurs against an opposition MP directly on the floor of the Lok Sabha. And round the clock, Nehru's bashing too. This wasn't an isolated outburst. It signaled the normalization of majoritarian slurs within the nation's highest legislative body. This critique reveals a profound moral paradox, demanding behavioral refinement from young citizens while simultaneously presiding over an ecosystem that regularly utilizes polarizing, misogynistic, and anti-minority rhetoric. In this framework, normative standards of language are weaponized as a tool for moralizing social control. The ruling apparatus enforces linguistic purism upon the public while its political machinery draws power from systematic incivility. This is not merely accidental friction in electoral politics. It operates as a structural mechanism to police civic participation, marginalize vulnerable identities, and erode established democratic norms. Public appeals for moral civility remain fundamentally performative so long as top level political strategy relies on the strategic degradation of dissent. Until political leadership practices the decorum it demands from its citizens, the critique of youth culture isn't a defense of civic virtue, it's an exercise in ideological asymmetry. What do you think about the relationship between political language and public decorum? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want more breakdowns like this, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.